Hello everyone, I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven. We're at the Metals Investor Forum in Vancouver in the middle of May, and I'm joined by Christian Kargl-Simard of Adventus Mining. Thanks for coming.
Well, thanks for inviting me and believing in the story.
Oh, you're welcome. So, Adventus is getting ready to hopefully soon start building a mine in Ecuador. Let's talk about what that means in terms of what's going to happen for the stock over the next little while, because some parts of getting ready to build a mine are very slow, and other parts then it can sort of come fast and furious. So what's down the pipeline for Adventus?
Well, we've been the most busy we ever have been. There's been a huge human resources push, so we've hired a construction team. And we're doing detailed engineering.
And it was interesting you said some of that team came from Kinross.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool benefit for you.
Yeah, the key guy we got is a guy named Scott Mueller. So
Okay.
he just ran the construction for Kinross's La Coipa in Chile. Mm-hmm. So we built it on time and $20 million under budget. Fantastic. He was going to be shipped over to Russia to build their next gold project. But his wife is Ecuadorian. Oh. She wanted to move back to Quito. He's a former U.S. Air Force guy who worked on Mirador and Fruto Norte. So it's like a match made in heaven.
Absolutely.
And he's come in there with a chip on his shoulder, kind of as a younger guy, like early 40s, and has really transformed the team, and everyone loves him and trusts him. And
amazing.
So
okay.
It makes my life a lot easier. But for those that don't know the story very well or don't speak to me every day, they wouldn't know that that's going on. You can't really force some of these catalysts or press releases that we're working on. Like you can't just say, ESIA I think is coming in 2 weeks. Like when the ESIA gets given to us by the government is when we're going to put out that release.
Yeah.
But I have to say that we're shocked about how good and how supportive the government is on our permits. Okay. And it's not only the Environment Ministry, it's all ministries trying to solve problems and trying to get us going as quickly as possible. So I think we'll beat, maybe materially, our guidance in terms of when the ESIA is supposed to be approved. Publicly, it's by the end of this year.
Right.
I think reasonably third quarter.
Okay.
We can get it out. I don't know if it's the beginning or end of the third quarter. We're also busy on optimizing the project through detail engineering. Mm-hmm. So getting comfortable with what that final capital cost is going to be. I think there'll be a release on that. And some of the wins we've had in optimizing the project.
Okay.
Looking to start pre-construction activities in September. So a ribbon cutting event there. Maybe there'll be an analyst or investor site tour. And then probably the most exciting catalyst is drilling our Santiago porphyry project. People have been waiting for that for a while. It's nice to have such a potentially high-profile exploration project to balance out the more boring construction period. So cross my fingers. We should be drilling in June.
Okay.
With results in the summer. And if we can drill a kilometer of something like one of our peers is drilling at 0.8, 0.9%, then we'll be in a fun period for sure.
Okay, well, let's talk about the valuation of Adventus right now in terms of an investment opportunity. There's been a bit of a perfect storm pushing down on Adventus. The slog of getting ready to build a mine, that often is a boring period for a share price, be that as it may. And then there's these market pressures and whatnot. But you are fully financed to build the highest grade and most economic copper mine in the world. It's not a huge operation, but it's a very economic operation. You're fully financed to have that, and you're going to be in production in not that long into a copper market that really needs that output. And you have this exploration opportunity. Who knows what that will turn into. So talk about what you're worth relative to what the mine's worth, what the cash flows could be, things like that.
Well, it's extremely frustrating to have seen what's happened in the last few months after building the business over the last 5 years, raising over 100 million equity, like you said, fully financing the project. Clearly, the market is avoiding construction names because they're scared about capital cost overruns, supply chain issues, all those kind of things. I get those questions all the time. I think we're in a pretty good position there. And it's also a market where there's a lot of cheap stuff out there. It's not a market where people are just buying for value. They want instant gratification and an instant drill result that could double the share price, which is why Santiago drilling is so important for us. But we're trading at our all-time low in the low 50s. We're at 85 million Canadian market cap with about 30 million Canadian in the bank. Plus 235 million US project financing arranged that we'll draw once we start full-scale construction. versus our first year's attributable free cash flow using current pricing is close to 100 million US. So fully financed and trading at half of the first year's free cash flow. I've never seen that before, other than maybe the depths of the global financial crisis. Yeah. And it's not like investors have 20 single asset developers that they can invest in to get exposure to copper. We're the only one in that stage globally. Yeah. So you think there's a little bit of scarcity value, but the key thing is we got the money, and we just need to execute on the business, and the share price will come back. In terms of where we're trading on a PNAV value, we're about 0.15 to 0.2.
Yeah. Whew.
Which is where some of the multi-billion-dollar capital porphyry companies are trading at. We should be trading as a high-grade, high cash flow type story, I think close to 0.6 or 0.7 right now. So
arguably moving up to 1-to-1 as you get close to production, right?
Well,
that's the kind of range.
Silvercrest and Adriatic would be the comps that I look at, and granted it is silver. Sure. In one case, actually you could say both are silver, but our cumulative free cash flow over life of mine is about 10% less than what Silvercrest is supposed to do.
Is that close, eh?
And their market cap at the same stage that we are right now was well over $1 billion. Yeah. And we're less than 100 million.
Moments, right? So, I mean, my talk today at this conference was called "We Just Got to Get Through This," and so for Adventus, that's the market moment and this sort of moment in terms of news flow. But you do have these catalysts coming, and the moment will pass. Absolutely. Well, thanks for coming today. Despite the moment, it's a good investment opportunity, and I appreciate you bringing us up to speed.
Thank you, Gwen.